Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd with my friends at Yarnspirations.com. I'm your host, Mikey. And today we have the Teenie Beanie. This is considered a beginner level. And what we're going to be noticing about this is that we're going to be using Bernat Plush yarn. It's actually quite a thick yarn here. I like it, the feel better than Bernat Blanket, personally speaking. And it really is like a fabric when it's in your hand, and it's exceptionally soft. Now, because this is a thicker yarn, I have a lot of issues when it comes to the gauge, and the gauge is actually right here, and it says 8 single crochet and 9 rows. This allows us to get to the size that we need to go. So if you're creating this hat and the size is way too small or it's way too big, chances are you're not following the gauge. But the reason for today's tutorial, and for those that are not following me on a tutorial that won't realize this, is that a 9mm size M crochet hook is very rare. It's hardly ever used, and I have never seen one of these. So what I wanted to do is that I wanted to redo this particular pattern, but in a 10mm size N15 hook, okay, or NP. And what we have here is that because the hook is bigger, it means that I have to do less rounds, but I also have to change the count just slightly. So on this tutorial, we're going to do that. So I want to show you another resource that's available for you if you like crochet diagrams. It's on page number 2. We're not going to concentrate on that today because I'm going to break the rules today. But also, I want to show you another sheet that I have that is my personal gauge. So depending how closely you follow me, you know that I keep a record of my personal gauges every time I touch a certain yarn and I run a gauge check. I record it and keep it online, and it's public information as well. So Bernat Plush here, the gauge, when it's highlighted like this and italicized, it's 7 single crochet and 8 rows. But when I use Bernat Plush, it's with the same hook. Here, I get 7 single crochet and 10 rows. So the difference between the 8 to 10 is really quite significant. So what I did is that I continued this pattern, and I eliminated, when I did this, I eliminated one of the growths here. So I did not do round number 11, and I went immediately and just did single crochets until I got to where I wanted to go. So that's what we're going to be doing today, and you can follow the pattern as written or just follow along with my lead. You decide. You are the artist. So in the sample that I have for you today, this is my adjustment, and you're going to roll the brim up, so about 4 rows when you do it. So when you see the model wearing this particular hat, you can see that it's more loosely near the top of her head. It does not come down over top of her ears or down across her forehead. It's more of a fashion hat than anything, but if you keep it rolled down like this, and if you still wanted to roll it up, you can do so. Just make it longer, just add a few more rows. You will have yarn on your yarn ball to be able to do that if you want to improvise for that. So this is meant to be really cute, and let's begin. You're going to notice on the sample it has no slip stitching because we are going to use a continuous round, and therefore you're going to see that happen as we go. So let's do it. And finally, the color that I'm using is called Ocean Break. It's right here, and this is the yarn. So it's variegated, and it's really squishy and fun. Let's begin. So as we begin today, I will show you what the pattern is telling you to do, but I will also improvise and show you what I'm going to do as well. So I want you to create a magic circle. So use your 2 fingers with the strand coming out in front of you. And we have videos slower on our channel if you need it. So just wrap it around your finger and cross over the top. Dog hair is not included. I have dogs, as you may not know. So I want you to cross over your fingers like this and grab your crochet hook and get ready. Okay, so in front, 2 fingers around, and make sure you cross over and use your ring finger here to hold this into position. You're going to slip the hook underneath the first strand right here. And use the hook and pull this strand through. Now, release it off of your fingers. So move your hand forward like this. So just twist up and just slide your fingers out. The magic circle works on these 2 strands right here in tandem with each other. Okay, so I want you to chain 1. This will lock the circle, and we're going to secure this in a bit. And we're going to start with round number 1. Let's begin. So round number 1, we're going to just put 6 single crochets and make sure you go up over top of the 2 strands. We'll count those out together. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Once you have your 6, I want you to grab another spare piece of yarn here, pull up a loop, and insert your hook underneath the first one right here, where that loop is coming out of, and pull that spare yarn through. So whenever we finish a round, we are going to then move up the stitch marker so we never have any slip stitching in our work. We're going to do as a continuous round, as I just said. Leave this off, and I want you to grab the loose end here and pull onto it tight, and turn it over and keep on pulling it. And what you're doing is you're pulling it so tight that you're going to close off the center of the hole. Now you can't just leave it like that because it will come out and come undone. So you need to put your yarn into a tapestry needle, and just on the back side here, just bring it through some of the plies. Now, because this is like a material and not like a yarn, you're gonna want to go in between the strands. And especially on the first one that you pull through, pull it tight, because you won't be able to change that later. And then going back through a different pathway. This particular one has like a plastic cord in it, which to me, I'm always scared about breaking when it comes to this thick yarn. And coming back in the opposite direction. So you may want a tapestry needle that's completely metal, because I have broken those before. So I'm going to just pull, I'm just going to cut it, but because this is on the inside of the hat, I'm not going to go right to the work at all, so it gives it a little bit of freedom to move. Turn the project back over, realign the stitch marker that you put in, put your hook back in, and pull it tight. And that was round number 1, and now we're ready to go. And you can see the interior is closed in. So in the original pattern, it always has you slip stitch and then chain 1 and start a new round. If you prefer that, it's great. You will have a slip stitching line that is really quite obvious because it's thicker yarn. So this is a good way to avoid it. So you're now going to go round number 2. So I'm going to give you the set of instruction. You're going to repeat it, and then when you get to the end, I need you to move up the stitch marker, and I'm going to meet you on the end of this round, just to verify what you're doing. So you're just going to start, and if you're not sure which one is the one to start, count it back. It's the 6th one back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You only have to technically do that for this round because you're joining it technically. So you're going to put 2 single crochets into that one, and you keep doing the repeating 2 into each until you get to that stitch marker, because that was the last stitch that you had. My yarn is just snagging off camera. Let me just get that out. There we go. That's what happens when you have a messy death like me. Okay, and now it's better. So we're putting 2 into each. So this hat will go very fast. It's a great quick Christmas pattern if you like to give it away as a gift. And it's kind of trending, actually, to be honest. Okay, so you go right to the last one that's marked. And so when you get to the last one, so you put 2 into that one, you are going to then pull up and move the stitch marker up. So just move it up, let it drag in the project, because if you ever have to frog it, you'll see where the start and the stops of each round are, and you pull that out at the end. And I would verify, because this is the first time you've technically gone around, make sure there are a total of 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're moving on to round number 3. Okay, so the rest of it, I'm just going to give you the information. You're going to do it, and I'll see you at the end of the round. Make sure you move up your stitch marker. So the first one, you're going to have 1 single crochet in it, and then the next one there will be 2, and that's your repeat going all the way around. Okay, so the next one has just 1, and then the next one has 2. Please do this all the way around for round number 3. So you're going to notice in this particular pattern, I'm about to start round number 4, is that the growth is always not at the same spot, so you don't see any growth lines within the model's hat. So how we start round number 4 is that we're just going to do 1 single crochet in the first, and then the next one is going to have 2 single crochets in it. And now the repeat starts technically from this moment. So we're going to start, and you're going to have 2 single crochets in a row. So 1 and 2, and then 2 into the next one. And I need you to repeat that till you get close to the end of the round, and I'll show you how to finish the round because it's slightly different. At the end of number 4, I put 2 into the same one, but I still have 1 stitch left, and it's just 1 single crochet in the final stitch before moving on to round number 5. So the growth is changing positions so that you don't have any obvious lines within your work. Let's begin round number 5. Round number 5, we're going to apply 1 single crochet in the first 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then 2 single crochets in the next. So 1 and 2. So I was practicing, that's why I have my yarn. It looks like sinful off camera. So the repeat then is 3 into the next, or 1 into the next 3, and then 2 into the next, and do that all the way around for round number 5. Okay, round number 6 is just 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. Please do that, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, round number 7, the growth is changed in location. So let's just start off, and where the first 2 are 1 single crochet each. And then the next one is 2 into the same one. 1 and 2. So the repeat then for the remaining of the round is going to be 4 single crochets in a row. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 2 into the next. And I need you to do this all the way around. And when I get close to all the way around, I'll show you how to finish off. When you get close to all the way around, you'll have 2 stitches that are left over after the 2 are put in. Okay, so you got 2 into the same one. So the last 2 are just 1 single crochet each to complete off round number 7. So just move your stitch marker up, and let's begin number 8. Round number 8 for the 10mm size NP crochet hook was the last time I did a growth to get 42 stitches all the way around. So to do this round, you're going to apply 1 single crochet in the first 5. So we have, there's 2 so far, 3, 4, and 5, and then 2 into the same one. And the reason why I stopped here is that even though this will not look big enough, it takes several rounds before this thing will settle out to the size of your head. So for myself, 42 was the magic number. So please do the same sequence around. So 1 into the next 5 and 2 into the next. For the 9mm or the 10mm, so for both sizes, the next 2 rounds are both the same. They'll just be 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Please do rounds number 9 and 10 of 1 single crochet around. I'll be right back. Okay, if you're doing the size that I was doing for the 10mm, all you just need to do now is 7 more rounds of single crochet going around and around, and then you'll do the last round, which is number 23, which I will show you at the end. If you are using the 9mm or you don't think that this is big enough yet, round number 11 is next, and we're going to do another increase. So to do the increase then is just 1 single crochet in the first 3. So we have 1, 2, and 3, and then 2 into the next. So then the repeat, then the remaining of the round is the next 6 are going to be by itself. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then 2 into the next. So go all the way around, and I'll see you close to the end to show you how to finish off. So I'm coming all the way around. I have 3 stitches left after the 2 are into the same one, so just finish those off. So because the growth round takes several rounds to be able to finish before it starts really crawling down the side of your head, for myself, I realized that the hat was way too big for me if I followed the pattern using this size hook. So what you can do at this point, if you're not sure, put in another stitch marker right here. So in case you have to frog it back, you can just know exactly where it is, or you can just look at where there's 2 into the same and then come from here. So the next final rounds of this is going to be 11 rounds of just single crochet around and around and around. So go a few more times if you want to and see how it's going to be fitting on your head, or seeing if it's too big. And if you think it's too big, then what you can do is frog it right back until you get to this growth round, and just take this growth round out, just replace it with a single crochet, and then continue on without growing it out, because I found that the 42 single crochets in a round were enough for me, and so currently it's sitting at 48. So the difference of just the 6 stitches, if you look at the distance of 6 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if you eliminate that out, that will close in like that. Basically, it'll take that much space out of the circumference of the hat. So let's continue. So you're either going to make 11 more rounds from here. If you were doing the other one that we were suggesting, it was 7 rounds before this, or without this growth. But either way, I'm going to see you on round number 23 next. When you're ready for the final round, all you're just going to do is just slip stitch in the back loop only. Just be a little bit gentle about it. Don't pull on it too tight. And this is going to create a nice finishing look for when you get all the way around. So go all the way around, slip stitch, back loop only. So I'm all the way back around. Now, I don't want you to slip stitch to the beginning. I want you just to cut an extra longer piece, and I want you to grab that fancy dancy tapestry needle. So just pull this out. And because this is going to be rolled up, we want to focus on fastening it to this side, because it'll be rolled like this. So put this into the tapestry needle, and I want you to complete the first stitch. So going in to the 2 strands, this was the first slip stitch that you had. You're going to go in, and I want you to pull it long enough so it looks like the rest of the stitches, and then coming down inside this stitch here. Okay, and when you pull on it, make sure it looks like the same distance, like that. So now you're going to focus on this side of the work. So just going in and pulling it through. Okay, it's a slightly different path to go back in the opposite direction. So I don't recommend this type of needle for this type of yarn, just so you know. And then back finally a 3rd time as a charm. Okay, and now we can seal that off. You can take out your stitch marker, and now you roll about 4 rows back. So if you wanted to try this on before you did this, you could have done that too. And so you're rolling a nice generous roll. And so this hat is intended to be just sitting on the top of the head and just being very fashion oriented like this. So even with this variegated yarn, it still turns out pretty cute.